Cherophobia. Chero means rejoice, while phobia means fear. It is an aversion to happiness that often occurs in non-mainstream groups, because they are not included in the generally agreed happy future. Why is that happening? Jack Halberstam believed that the straight time decides what is common happiness. From birth, marriage to death, such a life is regarded by public as a happy and valuable one. But the misfitting ones are seen as unworthy and unhappy. They are often ignored outside of the straight time. On the other hand, some mainstream groups have appropriated in the culture of non-mainstreams in a posture of superiority. Therefore, the non-mainstreams lacks a large number of affirmative narratives of their own. They cannot be sure that they will have a happy future. Now, some artists and designers are paying attention to this issue and looking for ways to build their timelines. How are they doing it? Jae-hee Lee, a Korean female graphic designer. I was impressed by her and her team's work I Am Angry. This is a design work that uses a website as a visual representation of racism against Asians. Through their primary research, they collected information about racial discrimination experienced by Asians around the world, and added a secondary research based on related topics, history, and news to present all those things on the webpage. In this project, Cherophobia is presented as a call to stop difference between racist and real reality. And J. Healy's visual presentation poses the question to all, why is the call to stop racism so important? Why do Asians always seem to be invisible in those stop racism movements? The emotions born out of this reflection therefore become the subject of J. Healy's creative projects, and she does not hesitate to express thought, sadness, and anger in her designs. Querying the Map is a community-generated countering map project that digitally archives queer experience in relation to physical space. The platform provides an interface to collaboratively archive the cartography of queer memory, from park benches to the middle of the ocean, in order to preserve our histories and unfolding realities, which continue to be invalidated, consisted, and erased. From collective action to stories of coming out, encounters with violence, the moments of rapturous love, querying the map functions as a living archive of queer life. By mapping out LGBTQ2IA+ experience in its intersectional permutations, the project works to generate affinity across difference and beyond borders. HBTQ Aster is a 32-page newscript publication, the product of rethinking of LGBT community's visual language made by design studio Learned Green plus Learned West. They took into account setting common black and white printing. The rainbow logo was completely unrecognizable, so they decided to create a new one based in the device visual symbols of the LGBT community. What I think interesting is that while designers are not members of that group, they do document and disseminate the existence of the LGBT community through a very common vehicle. This is quite important because it means that groups that were once neglected have their own voice. They are able to flip through their own history and related stories. We have summarized and analyzed all the artworks of the artists and designers we researched into this chart. We categorized and color-coded different groups involved in the works. More importantly, we have summarized the timeline established by each work, whether it relates to the history of the group, whether it focused on the past or looks at the future. We designed this 3D map to visualize all data collected in the chart. The 3D map contains the categories of non-mainstream groups Asian, queer, subculture, women, and black, as summarized in the chart. We have also transferred the colors for each artwork in the chart to this map. As the cursor hovers over the name of the work, the map displays images related to each work. Meanwhile, we have categorized the works represented on the map as interactive or not in a graphic way. Circles representing works that are interactive and triangles the opposite. When we change our perspectives, we can see a linear timeline that includes the past, present, and future, which also corresponds to the classifications in the chart. New timelines belonging to the non-mainstream groups and created by all the works beyond this linear timeline. We have also designed a two-dimensional infographic to show this timeline more clearly. As the cursor crosses the timeline created by all these artworks, the time when these works were created is also shown. The linear timeline below also reflects discrete time or chronometrically as defined by mainstream culture. When clicking on the timeline for each work, an overview description and images of the work is displayed. And this is our research based on Cherophobia, finding various examples and discovering their design thinking and summarizing them by mapping.